Okay, folks, welcome back. I'm really excited about this one because it's something that's been all over, all over the internet. We're talking about the Trump coin,
Yeah.
specifically um, the official TRIP coin that just launched
hmm
this year in 2025. And we've got some articles and analyses like usual,
Right.
and we're going to dive deep into all the details.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. It's a very interesting case.
Yeah, because there's a ton of hype, there's a lot of skepticism, and there's some strong opinions.
Yeah, definitely a lot of opinions out there.
Yeah, all around this one. So we're going to
Yeah.
try to help you navigate, all the noise and all the buzz and try to help you figure out, is it legit or is this
Right.
potentially, a little bit risky?
Absolutely.
Um, so one of the things that we found right off the bat that I thought was so fascinating was that
Yeah.
there have been multiple Trump coins
Yes.
in the past.
And some have been, outright scams.
Straight up scams, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was interesting.
It is. It is. And that's what makes this one so intriguing, right?
Yeah.
Because it's the first time that we're seeing a Trump coin that is directly,
Officially.
yeah, officially endorsed by Donald Trump himself and, being promoted on his platforms, on Truth Social, on X, formerly known as Twitter,
Right.
that lends a certain legitimacy to it that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, so I mean that's what makes this whole thing so, so interesting and so tricky
Yeah.
is because we have the official backing, we
Yeah.
have, him announcing it on all of his platforms like you said, Truth Social, X, and it's even, built on the Solana blockchain.
Yeah. Which, again,
It's
is
interesting.
another factor that kind of adds to that sort of air of legitimacy, right?
Sure.
It's not just some random, coin on some obscure blockchain that nobody's ever heard of.
Exactly.
It's on a
Right.
well-established blockchain.
So you can't just dismiss it as, oh, this is just like some rando.
Fly-by-night operation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's get into some of the details. I mean, the Trump coin was officially launched on January 18th, 2025.
Correct.
So it's still very new.
Very new. Yeah.
And it's managed by CIC Digital LLC, which I understand is an affiliate of the Trump Organization.
Yes, that's right. And then also Fight LLC.
Okay, yeah. Now, that name definitely sounds familiar. Like, I feel like I've heard that.
You probably have, yeah. It's another one of those, entities that's very much associated with
With the Trump brand.
with the Trump brand and the whole, Magie movement and that kind of thing.
So these two entities, they actually own like 80% of the tokens.
80%, that's right.
And they're subject to this 3-year unlocking schedule.
Yes.
And so I got to be honest with you. Like, I'm not super deep in the crypto world.
Sure.
What does that even mean? Like a 3-year unlocking schedule?
Yeah, so that's a really important point and a good question. So basically what that means is that these tokens, 80% of these tokens that are held by these organizations, they can't just dump them on the market all at once.
Okay.
Right. So they're on this schedule where they're gradually released over a period of 3 years. And that's, that can be seen as a good thing in the sense that it prevents a sudden flood of tokens hitting the market,
Right.
which could cause the price to crash.
Right.
So it's presented as a kind of, a safety measure, a way to stabilize the market. And I think in some ways it could be, but it also raises questions about, control and potential for manipulation, right?
Okay, so, I mean, just to kind of recap.
Yeah.
So we have official backing. We have, kind of a controlled release of the tokens. We have, it's built on the Solana blockchain,
Mm-hmm.
which is known for, like, its speed and low transaction fees.
Right. And that could be a deliberate choice as well, right?
What do you mean?
Well, Solana, it's known for being very user-friendly, very accessible, and it aligns with the whole idea of, Trump being presented as this collectible
Okay.
that's accessible to everyday people.
Got it. So that all makes sense. But, let's talk about why some people are saying,
Yeah.
hey, maybe this is legit.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, we have folks saying, be really careful with this. This could be a scam.
Absolutely.
So let's start with the pro side, right?
Right.
Let's talk about the arguments for why this is a legitimate thing. Like, what makes this different from, for example, the Trump bucks that came out a few years ago and turned out to be a total scam?
Right. Yeah. So I think the biggest difference here is the direct involvement of Trump and his organization.
Okay, yeah.
Right? This isn't just, somebody slapping his name on a coin and trying to make a quick buck.
Right.
This is actually, being managed, being promoted by Trump and his team.
Yeah, and they're putting their name on it, like their actual business names and everything.
Absolutely, yeah. And that does carry weight. That level of official backing does make it different from those past scams where it was just, some random person trying to capitalize on his name.
And the fact that they're saying straight up on their website that this is not an investment and this is not a security,
Right.
that's important.
That's very important, and that's a very deliberate move, right?
Yeah.
They're positioning this as a collectible, as, a piece of the Trump brand, a piece of meme culture.
Right. So that kind of
It's a
still
digital
keeps them out of
takes them out of, certain
Right.
regulations.
regulatory.
Exactly, yeah. And it appeals to a different kind of buyer, right?
Yeah.
They're not appealing to the traditional investor. They're appealing to
It's a Trump fan.
the Trump fan, the meme enthusiast, the person who's, really into that whole online culture.
Okay. So, I mean, that makes sense. But even if you're buying it as a collectible,
Right.
it's still subject to like the ups and downs of the crypto market.
Right. Absolutely, yeah. And I think that's where the arguments for caution come in.
Yeah, let's switch gears.
Yeah.
Talk about those. I mean, we were just talking about the Trump bucks, but there was even that.
The Trump Liberty coin.
The Trump Liberty coins in 2024?
Yep.
Which, like, I vaguely remember this. It was, like, falsely claimed that they could be redeemed at Bank of America
Yes.
for, like, ridiculous sums of money.
Yeah. And both the Trump campaign at the time and Bank of America were like, nope, not us, no involvement here.
Exactly.
So people got burned.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, highlights the need for due diligence.
Just
Even with official backing, even though this is, directly from Trump and his organization, you still have to be careful.
Yeah, you can't let your guard down just because you say,
Exactly.
oh, this is official, so it must be good.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the whole meme coin phenomenon is inherently risky, right? These coins are driven by hype, by social media trends.
Yeah.
You can have wild price swings based on literally a tweet, a viral meme,
So it's very speculative.
Extremely speculative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, just to kind of like recap everything, I mean, we have the official endorsement.
Yeah.
We have it being built on the Solana blockchain. We have this controlled token release.
Right.
And they're explicitly saying this is not an investment or a security.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, all those things could lead someone to believe that, yeah, this is a legitimate
It could,
digital collectible.
if unconventional. Yeah.
If unconventional. But then on the other hand, we have the fact that this is still a meme coin.
Right.
And the market is inherently risky, and we have all this history of scams that have happened.
Yes, absolutely. And the fact that, such a large percentage of the tokens are controlled by these entities that are closely affiliated with Trump, that raises questions as well.
Mm-hmm. So where does that leave our listener? Like, what should they do with this information?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is don't let the hype, whether it's positive or negative, don't let that drive your decisions, right?
Okay.
Do your research, understand the risks involved, and, just because something has official backing, just because it's associated with a big name doesn't mean it's a guaranteed win.
Yeah, he's
There's always potential for things to go wrong.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So for our listeners out there, think about this. Imagine you're thinking about buying Trumpy.
Yeah?
What would it take? Like, what would you need to see or hear or know in order to feel comfortable making that decision?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what level of due diligence
That's a great question, yeah.
would you need?
What would make you feel comfortable? Given the history and everything we've talked about,
Yeah.
I think that's the question everyone needs to ask themselves.
Yeah, and
Because ultimately, it is a personal decision, right? Based on your own risk tolerance, your understanding of the market.
Yeah. Well said. Well, hey, thanks for diving deep with us today into the world of Trump, the Trump coin.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
I think this is something that we're going to be, hearing a lot more about in the coming weeks and months. So,
Oh, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
yeah. So for you listening, stay informed, think critically, and as always, we'll catch you on the next Deep Dive.